Good afternoon, Miss Sandra, Miss Bambina, and Trek, and to everybody
Hi.
watching and listening to us. Thank you for making time and tuning in today's session. I'm Natalie, and I will be your moderator for today. We are here on the occasion of the fourth solo exhibition of Trek Valdizno at Galleria Duemila. For the opening remarks of today's program, I would like to introduce the curator of Beguiling Temptation. Sandra Palomar is a visual artist and art consultant. She was the director of the Metropolitan Museum of Manila from 2012 to 2015. She is a faculty member of the DLS CSB School of Design and Arts and a guest lecturer at the Foundation University in Dumaguete City, teaching arts management and fine arts courses. She develops art projects through her own company to support ex-urban art communities. Ms. Sandra?
Thank you, Natalie. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Bambina. Hello, Trek. It's wonderful to be with you this afternoon to talk on art practice, art management in a post-pandemic future. I'll be brief to introduce you so we can spend more time deliberating on this topic this afternoon. May I introduce Bambina Jacinto Aseron. She is a young entrepreneur and artist. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurial Management from the University of Asia and the Pacific. Upon receiving her degree, she studied a year of classical painting and drawing at the Kline Academy in Los Angeles, California. She then worked for a local auction house and has been an art consultant for Tarzeer Pictures in Manila since 2019, taking time, however, to participate in exhibitions since last year. Trek Valdizno is a seasoned abstract painter who studied at the College of Fine Arts, University of the Philippines in Diliman from 1988 to 1992. He has been widely exhibited in museums and galleries and is often solicited for his large-scale artworks. He currently lives and works from San Rafael, Bulacan, and the only activity that will take him away from his studio is perhaps his daily bike trips in the countryside. Now, the premise for this afternoon's discussion is how works of art are often taken for granted until someone crazy comes along by design and turns it into gold. Bambina has recently brokered commissions of Trek's paintings for a corporate collection. Let's hear it from them, how this has brought their careers in contact and how they envision their near future as we move forward beyond the pandemic. Natalie?
Thank you, Ms. Sandra, for that introduction. It's an honor to be here with well-esteemed individuals. Allow me now to proceed with the interview. Question for Ms. Bambina. As mentioned, you used to work at Salcedo Auctions and now you're with Tarzeer Pictures. Could you describe your experience working with an auction house and a private company that collects art?
It's been an incredible learning experience for me so far in my experience. These teams are normally quite small, so you get help with many aspects. And being with people who are as passionate about this topic makes for an exciting and fulfilling work atmosphere, which is what keeps me going.
I see. What about the difference of like working for an auction house and a gallery?
Well, an auction house, you have to. They're very different models. A gallery, it's the primary market, and the auction house is the secondary market.
What's involved in your current occupation as an art consultant? Like, what brought you to land this type of a job?
So what's involved at the moment is a lot of research and communication with artists and galleries. That's really the bulk of it. And I think what brought me to this is, I still, anybody who knows me knows that I've really committed since college to working in the local art world. And I guess like a genuine, sincere passion and commitment is important. I'd call myself kind of a geek about it. And I think also being a painter gave me another level of understanding and communicating with artists about technicalities like medium and materials. But I feel so lucky to be part of a young, hardworking team right now, like Tarzeer.
Okay, you recently commissioned works of Trek for a corporation. We would just want to know, how you came across his art and the series of works that got you interested in the works of Trek.
Well, the first work of Trek that I saw was at the Chariot at Art Fair Philippines 2015. And of course, also Trek's Instagram. And I just love the dynamic energy and his sense of color.
Energy. What are the conditions required in recommending an artist for corporate commissions?
For commercial developments, I've learned it's a team effort, with the art people, the interior designers, the commercial property owners to come up with a collection that is authentic to the brand and serves a purpose. Like the work serves a purpose there, like that's why it's also important to have a sense of interior design and a sense of color. Another thing I'd say also about recommending is if the artist is findable, like being on social media is a big help. Embracing, technology and having a portfolio online just readily available for anybody to see. That definitely is a big help. For example, if you can see an artist is experienced in scale, like large artworks, and you see it on their Instagram, obviously for a commercial development, that is a helpful, right? Because you know that they can, you could trust them to produce a large work because it's a different, it's a whole other thing to tackle, like making a small artwork a huge one.
See,
I think.
is that like, what's your deciding point on like commissioning Trek's works? Is that one of the biggest factors,
Well, one was, his ability to do large scale works, his sense of dynamism, dynamic energy that's perfect for place with heavy foot traffic, his composition. I think it just really works. And it's also, I think we all thought it was authentic to the brand of the
preparation
development.
Yeah, I see. Okay, question thank you, Ms. Bambina. So
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions later, more questions later, but for now, I have questions for Trek. Hi, nice to finally
Hi.
meet you.
So what is your question?
So do you remember your first ever commissioned artwork? And how many commissions? Okay, go ahead.
I can't remember everything, but my first commission was the Philippine Airlines business lounge in Hong Kong.
Oh.
I did a painting for a business lounge in Hong Kong. That was 1992 something, around 1992. But we are a group of friends, like group of 5 artists who got commissioned.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm sure you didn't get to keep track, because
Then followed
high
by
demand.
one from City of Dreams.
Oh,
For the casino, I think, and another one from Winford Casino in Manila. They got me painting for a lobby in Winford, and then one resort in Palawan. somewhere in Palawan. It's a boutique. It's a boutique hotel actually.
Could you bring us through your process of painting and tell us whether your approach changes for a commissioned work?
Oh well, first and foremost, I have my particular. I don't have a particular process when it comes to painting because creation is something that's composed of different things. A different process. So there's no such thing for me as one particular practice or one particular process because sometimes I mix everything or everything are all mixed up. That's how I work. And I don't really plan for a work or I don't make a sketch for a painting, but instead I paint directly on canvas or on a sketchboard on a paper. That's how I do my work. It's either I miss or I hit the subject. If I like it, I will keep it. If I don't, I discard it. That's my process.
Interesting. Well, could you describe what you're currently working on and how you decided on what to do for this particular set of works that Miss Bambina helped broker for a corporation?
In my case, I'm working on different things. Sometimes I'm working on landscape. I'm working on portraits.
Ooh.
I'm I'm doing some portraits right now. Commission work. So they are in progress. Those my other side of me. Aside from doing some landscape and then doing some abstractions or abstract art. That's what I do. And then I also make sometimes if I have the time, I do some sculptures.
Oh yeah. Could you show us could you give us a
Uh,
peek?
I don't have an available one here from now, but I have some in Sumac. Sumac in Makati.
I see.
The interior design shop, furniture store.
Okay. The next question is thank you, Trek. For the next set of questions, we're going to talk about art practice and art management in a post-pandemic future. So for Ms. Bambina, what is the current situation for designers and consultants? Is there an increase in activity for art-related projects after the break of the pandemic 2 years ago?
So I'm not exactly sure, but from my observation of what I've been seeing posted online, there's still so many art job offerings and art director job offerings, especially with the internet. All businesses, they need a website or an online presence, and that usually needs some kind of art direction. So I think just with more people having access to information on the internet, the appreciation for fine art and design is just going to keep growing, and there's always going to be a need for it.
What about the increase in activity? Any art-related projects that you would want to share or
Oh, like personal projects.
yeah? How's it from your personal experience?
From my personal experience, well, from my personal experience, the last 2 years, I've really just been focusing on this certain project and really focusing on it. So, but as far as I know, I think there are still so many, for a lot of communities out there.
This project, which is a really big project, I
Yeah,
suppose. Okay. Well, are art consultants vital for the Manila art scene? How does your role concretely support the development of local artists?
I think as long as there are walls in, large buildings that where you'll need someone who knows a lot about art to reach out to all these artists and have some kind of eye to help choose and compare in terms of design also, and somebody who just knows how to, if you ever need somebody who knows how to talk about prices and sizes, scale, framing, medium, color, then I think it will always, art consultants will continue to be vital. And I think it supports the development of local artists by finding and sharing opportunities. And, I think this is also where my background as an entrepreneur helped me in terms of, creativity, using my creativity also to help other artists find opportunities. And I love helping.
How does it work for you? Because you're also an artist, you also get, you also serve as a consultant, like get opportunities for yourself.
Repeat the question.
Like, how does it work for you? Because you're also an artist, right?
Yeah.
How do you get that opportunities? Do you work for it like yourself, or do you outsource it or get another person to do it for you?
Which part?
Your artworks.
Oh, my art.
Yeah.
As an artist. Like, do I find my own opportunities?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, just being open-minded to any kind of creative opportunities where anybody needs help, art direction, as much as possible. I just try to show that I'm committed and passionate about it. And, making friends obviously also helps in any industry. But those are the ways that I've been able to find opportunities also for
Well, is there a future in art consultancy? I'm sure there is. How does or can one make a living out of it?
Oh, well, probably exactly the same as as how I help myself, just being open-minded again and showing us genuine passion for it and making friends is probably the best thing you can do.
So there is a future for sure. Okay, back to Trek. Some artists are uncomfortable about getting commissioned because they often get directed by being given a scholar scheme to work with. How do you feel about that? What has
Well,
been your experience with collectors?
I'm not really uncomfortable with working with some commissions. I'm open to that. I'm open for different things. In at the same way, it also opened my eyes to give a different directions, a different twist on my work, so I can showcase what I can do and what I can bring to the clients or to the corporations I'm working into. Of course, I should work hand in hand with the colors and the dynamics of my painting. So I need to conform, and conformity is not an issue for me. So I can always, change my color palette, or as long as I'm happy what I do, I think that's the most important thing. I enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah, collaboration. David is a commission piece.
Yes, it's
So
fun for the collaborations.
you just work around it. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you think it's a good thing for galleries to promote commissioned works or deal with an artist's work via auctions? Ms. Bambina, feel free to respond to this question too.
Yeah, I think that galleries and auction houses, they really serve specific needs. But for artists, I think it's really a personal choice if you're willing and looking for this kind of opportunity, because not all artists are looking to do commission work. It's really your up to your practice as an artist. But there's still a need for it in the design world. So it's up to you as an artist if you want to help serve that purpose.
What do you think about it, Jack?
Well, I think it's also important for the career of an artist to get the commission works, because somehow they gives them some kind of exposures and a leverage for the artist to grow and to succeed in the future. Like maybe that gives you some popularity, or and getting noticed by the works you are doing for the commissions. Not long time ago, but I'm sorry, I can't discuss this thing.
That's okay. um, okay. Has the pandemic changed your art practice, Trek? And how do you feel about the art scene now after 2 years of social distancing?
Well, for me, I think the pandemic has made me a better person, at the same time, a better artist. I practice more of my painting, even more often than the usual regular before the pandemic times. And I can paint now every day in my studio. I mean, 12 hours a day. So not unlike the before the pandemic, I only paint when when I have the feeling or the urge. But even I paint now even without the urgency to paint. That's how
Were
I
you,
do my work.
I see. Were you living in Bulacan? I mean, before the pandemic, pre-pandemic?
Yes.
Okay. So that's been
I
really
was in
your studio.
Bulacan. Yes, yes. Even before the pandemic.
Okay.
Bulacan is my hometown, home province.
Okay, we're done with that topic. Miss Sandra, regarding the supplementary questions, do you want me to proceed?
That's fine. Yeah, sure. When do you have more questions to ask, or I don't know, how are you, both of you feeling? Are there things that we should
Mhm.
probably discuss if we're getting used to this talk about how for me, what the gist I'll just say is the fact that the work of Trek was in a public space, and Bambina earlier mentioned where there is a lot of foot traffic. It was thanks to that there was a meeting of the painting and the collector, and and Bambina's role is key because she puts them together, the painting and the collector. Uh, and here we have the opportunity to actually look into the world of the artist by having the artist talk about his work, which is wonderful. But Bina, is it the first time you actually get to talk to Trek?
Yes, it's my
Yes.
first time.
Wow.
So nice.
This is
Isn't
our first meeting.
wow. I mean, isn't there going to be an occasion that both of you will meet? Maybe will Bambina visit uh, Bulacan? Or is it too far? Or is it even necessary?
Um, well, I'd love to. My dad's side is actually from Bulacan, and so I'd love to visit. But I think for this specific commission, we've been working directly with the gallery. That's why we didn't really get to meet yet. But I'd love to, and yeah.
I'd love to meet you too.
Trek, there is a little boy behind you. Is
This
he
is
your
my
family member?
this is
Hi.
my neighboring kid who visits my studio every now and then.
Hello.
Oh, that's
His name was
sweet.
Jerry.
Wow. That's wonderful. Like I was telling Natalie, my memory of visiting you in Bulacan is not just, your workspace, how your workspace actually flows into other people's private spaces. We can actually see his paintings in the kitchen, in the sala of his neighbors, because Trek paints so fast. He has so little room. So he asks his neighbors to just kind of like take care of a painting until it dries before they
That's true.
somehow
That's
just
true.
get shipped off somewhere. And then all of these Bulaqueños, they don't know where it goes, but it gives them that idea that Trek is a god. Ay.
And now they are very, very appreciative about my paintings. I mean, they're beginning to learn they have these eyes now in looking at what is a good art and what is a bad art. And they appreciate abstractions.
Are they your first critic? The neighboring kids?
Yeah.
Wow, this is wonderful.
For Ms. Bambina, in your milieu, who are the contemporary artists to watch out for? Have you been able to recommend to collectors artworks in other genres other than paintings?
So yes, definitely. I tried to explore all the mediums, but actually, Tarzeer Pictures is a amazing photography gallery, and because of them, I got to learn so much about photography. It's actually a medium I hope to collect one day. And then another one that I love is the Philippine Association of Printmakers. I love print. So I'd say those are two definitely to check out.
What about the contemporary artists? Do you have any favoritism or a favorite artist? So many.
Too many.
Okay, you don't want to name drop. Okay. Well, what was your most memorable encounter between an artist and a collector?
Okay, so this is another one. I guess for anybody also who wants to get into this line of work, I don't feel like it's my place to share like encounters, because I think part of this line of work is being able to keep encounters confidential. So
Understandable. Hmm. Well, we understand that you also paint. How do you manage having an art practice alongside art consultancy projects?
yeah, so I actually think that this is a common challenge for lots of artists because lots of artists also keep day jobs at in the art industry just to keep learning. It's not even about it's just to keep learning really. So just try to get an education through the experience and from apply it to your art practice.
What about your time management? Do you have time to paint?
Oh, time management.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, again, it's like a personal choice. If you want to if you have time to commit to your day job, and then you come home and you have enough energy to paint, or me, I paint on the weekends as much as I can, but then I also try to balance it with having a family and friends. So yeah, it's definitely a big challenge for, I think, lots of artists. I'm sure Trek can relate also to this. So, but yeah, it's been a struggle, definitely. I right now my priority has been my day job, but obviously it's helping me learn um, for painting. So
Do you work 24/7? Do you have day off as a painter?
Now I don't have a day off now, except for my biking trips, short biking trips.
Ah, okay.
wow.
But I'll make it a point that I paint really every day. It's now a habit.
Wow.
It's becoming a habit of painting every day.
That's how you become a master.
Almost, maybe.
Yeah.
Has to be constant.
So Trek, who are the artists that have inspired you to do the kind of abstraction that you do?
Well, well, not really abstractions, but not really pure abstractions. But I like Picasso. I like Pollock. I like de Kooning. and some Renaissance painter, probably.
I actually kind of like compared, I mean, I referenced Jackson Pollock when Miss Sandra and Miss Silvana were, showed me your process of painting. And yeah, I see that. I see it. So you used to make more experimental or non-selling types of artworks early in your career. Is this something?
Yes, yes. I did
Yeah.
more of the installation works, more installations, more the non like I'm using different medium, which is not the regular medium that I use now, like not the oil paints, but I use the enamel paints. I use the house paints. I use different pigments actually.
Is this something you miss doing?
Um, maybe or maybe not anymore
You're
because I
happy
get
with
so
your
used to
art
that.
now. Yeah.
You know, I've been painting like for 30 years or 30 years plus already. And for me, that's a huge experience to use different mediums and, what is possible. I mean, seeing their possibilities if they turn out good or bad. But
Yeah.
you also need to consider the lifetime. I mean the lifespan of a medium or the like the oil paints or the acrylic. You also need to consider that.
What is your dream commission?
Oh, I don't actually have a dream commission. I don't have a specific one dream commission because for me, every commission is a dream. And I don't think there's a a big commission or all the commissions are important to me, whether it's a small or big commissions. But those are it's something that I can bank on, like the giving me prestige, like giving you and trusting you to make you a painting for them is it's an honor. So
Dream come
I'm
true
very
by
grateful to that.
Miss Bambina.
It was wonderful to listen to our speakers this afternoon to discuss how, despite 2 years of isolation, they were able to remain focused and connected with their craft. As in the case of Trek, who says that he was even a more full-time painter living in a remote rural community. For Bambina to also remain very focused and connected with her profession, we can see that because she seems to have found a balance working between a corporate art atmosphere while still pursuing artistic intention. No? Thanks to one work that was seen in public, both Bambina and Trek have come together through a collaborative project. And that is despite the really devastating 2 years that we've had. And each of us here today have definitely been affected in one way or another. However, we can see that everyone is surrounded by art. And there's just all these sheer possibilities of making something out of nothing while we stay home 24/7. I hear Bambina saying, you just go for it, you continue working. But perhaps you probably should, we should think that what helped both of them or what helped all of us get by to get by these difficult moments in the last couple of years was to remain open, to remain communicative, and to also be willing to listen and collaborate. It's interesting to note that Bambina, who works in a completely different milieu, the younger generation, that Trek and I are a little bit separated from, the digital age era. And from an almost antithetical perspective, we find her looking at art in the bright abstractions of a non-classical painter. one who simply takes pleasures in admiring sunsets over the horizon while he leisurely bikes or talks to neighboring kids. No? In the end, we understand that art, as much as it can exist in a bubble, cannot remain oblivious to forces that seek it, that consciously look for it, which is perhaps the vision of consultants like Bambina or her clients. This is the vision that they project. Can we say for ourselves, non-artists, for some of you who may be listening in right now, I think some of them are young future arts managers, that we have the ability to project farther than what the artist has imagined? Whether or not Trek's paintings appear to match the minimalist interior of a postmodernist mansion in a hidden resort community, whether or not his abstract forms are organic enough to blend in with the Rococo taste of an interior designer, we understand now that these conditions do not matter to the artist, to Trek, who is ready to oblige in a commissioned work. These conditions that belong to another field of vision actually extend language that is art. And thanks to these serendipitous connections between the art's agent, the collector, we can all be hopeful for a future beyond this crisis. Thank you for sharing our wonderful afternoon of conversation.
We would like to invite everyone to tune in again on March 12th, Saturday, same time, 3 p.m., for a dialogue with Trek Valdizno once again, and his friends, Ringo Bonoan, Aaron De Leon, Katia Guerrero, and Jonathan Olazo. You may also visit the exhibition here at Galleria Duemila. Please keep in mind that we are by strict appointment only. Details will be provided in the chat box and all over our social media platforms. Okay, that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Galleria Duemila. Thank you,
Thank you,
Natalie.
Sandra.
Keep safe, everyone. Take care.
God bless.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day ahead.